What is my idea of who a human being is? I think human beings are really complex creatures. We are authors, we're athletes, we're actors. We come from millions of different ethnicities and backgrounds, but at the end of the day, we all have one thing in common, and that is that we are all children of the same loving God. Genesis chapter 1, verse 27 states, God created man in his own image, and that is solely by God's voluntary condescension. God reveals himself to us as human beings in a perceivable manner because we cannot comprehend the magnitude of God's grace and his glory and his power. And do I think that we live in a deranged era or a deranged world? I personally don't think we do. I think we live in a world riddled with sin, but I don't think that we live in a deranged world, because that same deranged world would also be a world where we are able to be seen, known, and loved by our Father in heaven. I just don't think that that's deranged or crazy. So, what are we? Who are we as human beings? I think the real question is, who is God? Because in order to define what or who a human being is, that can only be done through Christ and Christ alone. Now, this Christian ideology and the Christian faith, we sit and fall short of it every single day. We place incredulous amounts of idolatry amongst worldly possessions and worldly relationships. Walker Percy says it best: you can have all A's and still flunk life. In other words, you can have everything you've ever wanted: the girl, the car, the job, the money, whatever it is that tickles your fancy, and you could still never have enough. What's the remedy for that? Jesus. Kind of an obvious answer, right? But in Matthew chapter 6, it talks a lot about how we have to give up our worldly possessions and stockpile our heavenly treasures. And I believe that the biggest thing that we need not hoard is the gospel. We can't play it safe with the gospel. Jesus gave us a spirit not of fear, but he gave us his Holy Spirit to go out and share with the world. And I think that's what we were created to do as human beings. And one thing about Baylor University that I love so much is that they don't play it safe with the gospel. They encourage their students to go out and spread the word and approach any and every situation with grace and humility. And even if that's just through one student, they are putting that grace and humility back into the world. And if I can be a part of that, I'll be eternally grateful. So I, Eleanor Butler, would love to have your consideration for the Getterman Scholarship and would love to advance my biblical worldview through studying exercise physiology at Baylor University.